Good to see you. Welcome back.
Thank you very much. This band obviously is great. I used to play the tuba in the Carson Junior High School band, and we wore bright red shirts. So I feel at home today. Thank you very much for inviting the Carson Alumni Band back. Sorry I missed the practice.
I don't picture you as a tuba player.
Yeah, tuba is cool, isn't it? Right? There you go. I mean, look at all the instruments. Which one would you rather play? Look at all of the brass instruments there.
I'm lazy. I don't want the biggest one.
Well, okay.
Did you ever just show up at a party with a tuba?
It's been a few years. Yeah, so.
You can have a harmonica in your pocket or a guitar in your car.
I'd be better off with something more manageable.
Here, hang on a second. Let me pull my tuba out.
Still,
it
it's
looks
cool,
good on
isn't
you,
it? Yeah.
It's awesome. Well, welcome back.
Thank you.
And it's a pleasure to sit next to the mayor.
Well, I'm glad you feel that way. That might not be a universal response.
I think you're safe. We patted everybody down at the door.
Good, thank you.
So what's going on? I know you've got a big initiative that you'd like to talk about today, so just the floor is yours. Well, have at it.
Thank you very much. As we all know, Mesa is a large community. We have a lot of citizen involvement in Mesa. We have a lot of boards. One of the great ways that people are involved in Mesa is serving on the Human Relations Advisory Board. And about a year ago, the Human Relations Advisory Board took on the task of exploring the issue of discrimination and diversity in the city of Mesa. And they did it in a very thoughtful way. Part of what they did was commission a survey by the Morrison Institute at ASU, which was conducted, like I said, maybe a little less than a year ago, asking the question to a large sample size, to what extent is discrimination an issue in the city of Mesa? The response that came back was very interesting. About 75% of those that were polled from a very diverse group of people said that's not really something that is a part that we've experienced in Mesa. And so the study was interesting to read. You could look at that and go, oh, great, Mesa's, we'll check that box. Maybe that's not something we need to worry about. On the other hand, you could look at it that, well, that means 1 in 4 people that live in Mesa have had to deal with this problem at some point or in some way in their lives. So regardless of how you want to debate the numbers, the conclusion that the Community Relations Advisory Board and that I draw from that is that it is a problem that we ought to address in the city. So they made a series of recommendations to the City Council a couple of months ago, and as we looked at the outcome of this study, it occurred to me that if we, in response to that, just maybe issued a city declaration or a mayor's proclamation or something like that and felt like we'd checked that box and we moved on, that we had really lost a great opportunity to respond in a more meaningful way. So the answer to this problem, I think, obviously needs to be a very broad-based solution. It's not a Mesa City government problem, it's a community issue that we want to engage all of the aspects of our community in, the faith community, the ethnic groups, the business community, everybody coming together to use this as an opportunity to make a commitment and to make a pledge saying that this is an issue that we want to be aware of, that part of what makes Mesa such a great community is our diversity. As I walk around and interact with the people of Mesa, it's just always very enlightening to me to see what a great, diverse, rich community we have in ethnic groups and in just all of the different assets that people bring to the table. So, and as a result of that, we came up with this One Mesa pledge idea that we announced at a prayer breakfast earlier this week. So I am here to kind of tell that story and to ask people to go to onemesapledge.org on the internet, and you can read the entire text of this pledge. What it asks you to do as groups in the community and as individuals is just to make a commitment to yourself and to others saying, this is an issue that I'm aware of and that I want to improve on, and that as an individual I'm pledging to not discriminate, and as a group, as a church, as a public service group, whatever you're involved in, to say we're going to be more aware, and we're going to appreciate the diversity in our community, and we're going to commit to fighting any intolerance that we might experience as we live here.
You know, when you first said 75% said they hadn't really experienced that, I went to, well, that sounds great. How does that stack up? Have they done similar surveys with other cities in the Valley? I
couldn't honestly tell you that I know the answer to that. I'm sure it's better than some communities. It's probably worse than others. So like I say, rather than using it as a way to measure ourselves in relation to other communities, to me, it just kind of helps me understand that if 1 in 4 people in Mesa have to deal with this, even at some level, that's really not acceptable. That's not who Mesa is. I was born and raised in Mesa. It's always been a very respectful, a very diverse community. In fact, that's one of the strengths. I think that's why we live here, is we appreciate the rich diversity that we experience here. So I think we just use it as an opportunity to brag about that, frankly, and to tell people that this is part of what makes Mesa a great place to live.
That's great. Well, I know they're showing the pledge up there on the board, and you've also got it on the banner stand.
Yes, sir.
Would you like to cover it or highlight any of it, or just encourage everybody to read all of it?
It's a pretty substantive thing. I mean, you can read it in about 30 seconds, but we put a lot of work into this, frankly. This is not something that we pulled off the internet from some other place. As a community, the city council had, their fingerprints are all over this. It's been wordsmithed by a lot of people at Mesa City government and outside. So it's a document that's great. I really encourage everybody to read it. I think it will be an enlightening and inspiring experience just to read this document and to ponder on to what extent in your personal interactions with other people this is something you can improve upon. So I would love it if people read it and spend a little time with it, and then hopefully they'll log on to the website and lend their support to it.
That's great. Well, I know you're open to any questions. If anybody's got any questions or comments for the mayor, now's a great time to send them my way, and I'll pass them on to you.
Great.
I know a lot of times when politicians run for an office, they have a long-range view of what they'd like to accomplish. What would you? How long is your term for? I'm going to display my ignorance here.
That's a great question, but I am actually filling out the last 2 years of Scott Smith's term.
Because you ran for governor.
Right. So I'm on a 2-year gig right now. So conceivably, if anyone thought it would be a good idea, I could run for 2 4-year terms after this. The 2 years that I'm in right now.
I like the modesty. If anybody thought that would be a good idea. Well, that's so what would you like to accomplish in that, if I had a little 2-year crystal ball here, what would you like to accomplish?
Economic development, I think, is what Mesa needs probably more than anything else. Raising the prosperity in our community financially and economically, I think, will address a lot of the needs that we have in our community. The kind of aesthetic problems we have on the edges of some of our community, the personal, social problems that people have in their families. All of those things, I think, will be positively impacted if I can help move the ball as much as I can in terms of improving the economy and having high-paying, more jobs in the city of Mesa. So that's kind of the overarching main thing that gets me up in the morning and trying to accomplish something good at the office. Also, something that's somewhat exciting is, less than a year from now, we'll have the light rail line going all the way through downtown Mesa out to past Mesa Drive. Another thing that I'm really excited about right now is trying to help our downtown light rail corridor to develop, so that when the light rail arrives in downtown Mesa, people and the doors open, that people actually want to get out and do things. And that there are good things. There's a lot going on in downtown Mesa. That's the Mesa Art Center, for example, if you haven't been there recently, let me tell you, it's a world-class facility.
World-class.
My jaw drops every time I walk into that building. It's spectacular. There's a lot of great businesses in downtown Mesa. I want to kind of put that on steroids and make downtown Mesa a place we can all be very proud of.
Great. Well, I know we're limited on time, but here's a great question. You can, without elaborating too much, are you taking this message of the pledge to the schools?
Absolutely.
That's a great question.
Thank you. It is a great question. And that's one of the first, if you read this Morrison study, one of the places where people experience issues is a lot of times in the school place, is in the workplace, but also in schools. So yes, we've met with Mesa schools and with the other school districts and the higher education institutions in Mesa. They absolutely are very much aware of this, and they're considering it at their board levels, and individually, all of the leaders that I've spoken with in the education community are supporting this pledge.
That's great. And I'd like to acknowledge we've got a Councilmember Thompson is here and will be sworn in on Tuesday. Everybody's welcome to attend at the Mesa Arts Center at 6 p.m. Councilmember Thompson, if you could stand up real quickly and take a bow. Thanks for being here. Did you play the tuba ever? Okay, good. Well, thank you so much, Mayor. I know you're a very busy man.
Thank you.
Mesa's lucky to have you for at least 2 years, and I have a feeling that you're going to do great things and you're going to be around for a lot longer. And we want you to come back every now and then. Let us know what's going on with you.
I'll find the tuba. I'll be back whenever you need me.
Awesome. All right, you heard it right. That's been captured on film.
Okay, good.
How about a big round of applause for Mayor John Giles? Thanks, sir.
Thank you very much.